I'm Alex McCord, and welcome to The Real Deal on thestir.com. Today we are discussing episode 11 of The Real Housewives of Miami, as well as the New Jersey season wrap-up and court cases upcoming. First, let's get to Miami, where Bridezilla, Adriana is finally, really, truly, emotionally, spiritually a real housewife, never mind the legalities. And guess what? This was the first time all season that she didn't look bad. She seemed relaxed and happy. Maybe they had to get through that monster of a wedding, but Bridezilla is gone. Perhaps the production mem is going to be that marriage calmed her down, but this was the best scene all season. She's adorably chasing after her son, who's going to his first school dance. She wants to go along. He says no. Frederick, the husband, is shooing her away. She says, "Call me if you need me." The husband says, "He won't call you, he doesn't need you." Very funny. Next, Roman and Joanna are spreading the news of their wedding to all their friends and family via Skype, but very few of them can make it to the event. There might be a few things at play here. Number one, the reason they did not give, they don't want to be filmed too much. Or number two, the reason the father did give. At a wedding, it's a big, huge, crazy scene. You don't really get a chance to hang out with the bride and groom. Isn't it better for him to make that big overseas trip later on when they can give him their full attention? I get that. Later on in the episode, Roman surprised Joanna with an evening on their terrace. He brought champagne and a prenuptial agreement, not to sign, but to tear up. I'm thinking this was a scene that Roman and the producers plotted out in advance. The symbolic ripping of the prenup was a nice touch, and their yacht pulled up for the evening for a sunset cruise. Very nice. But they lost me. I call too much on the gift of a puppy. Very cute, very adorable, but when you are bi-coastal, planning a wedding, shooting a reality show, and you don't have live-in dog sitters like Joanna does in LA, isn't it a little too much to train a new puppy? I think the puppy jumped the shark. Finally, Lisa Hochstein and Leah Black venture down to Waco, Texas to visit Leah's family. Whoa, talk about producers pulling their punches. I thought it was going to go one way, and then it went another. See, I thought Lisa was being set up to throw Leah under the bus when they asked her in interviews, "What do you expect in Texas?" And she said she expected to see a room full of people just like Leah Black who appreciate the finer things in life, etc. As soon as we saw that, I thought, uh-oh, what's coming? And in her later interviews, I noticed that Lisa seemed to be resisting the producers' questions. Now, I don't know if you noticed that, but as somebody who's been through it, it stuck out like a sore thumb to me. It can become like being cross-examined when they want you to say something and you don't want to say it for any number of reasons. Whether it's not your truth, it's way too mean, it's just plain stupid, whatever the reason. I think they wanted Lisa to make fun of Leah's family and she wouldn't bite. It was evident in her body language and her tone of voice when she said, "They're just normal people," as though she'd been asked it 32 times. I don't know, but Lisa didn't play ball. Good girl. It might get her fired, but then again, fired from what? Are they even going to have a next season? But all was not lost in Big D, because Leah managed to throw herself under the bus without Lisa's help at all. At the beginning of the season, I fell in line with the viewers. Clearly, the editing was meant for us to not like Leah Black, and I didn't. Gradually, I started to like her, and I still do, but why did she have to be so disdainful of her family? Every other second, she was rolling her eyes. She told her mother to her face she couldn't wait to leave. Why? I have one theory. Leah's sister died 3 years ago, and that's right about the time she would have started filming Housewives. Now, when you film a reality show and you have a life, you don't get to see anything or do anything or go anywhere. So she might have barely seen her family in the last 3 years. That could have created a big divide. If I were a producer, I'd bring Mom and the sisters to Miami for therapy. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, we had one final lost footage episode to see, and I have one huge question for the Guidices. Why have you not had the sex talk with Gia yet? She's 12. Okay, Teresa said it was because she hasn't gotten her period yet, but I was shaking my head. I mean, we have two boys who supposedly mature later than girls. We had the sex talk with our oldest when he was 8 because he asked. And we covered the birds and the bees, the birds and the birds, and the bees, all in one go. Done. See, when you live your life on reality TV and become professional celebrities in your downtime, you and your children are exposed to so much more of life. The kids see adults talking inappropriately. They might see drunk adults. They see all sorts of eccentric characters. Not to mention, being in New York City is an education in and of itself. So moms watching this, I want to know specifically what you think about this in the comments. Isn't 12 too late to have the sex talk, particularly with a girl? Finally, this is the beginning of court time for the Guidice family. Joe heads to court this coming Monday for his DMV charges. Now, those were two offenses, forgery and using the ID of another, which, if convicted together, could result in up to 11 and a half years jail time. The prosecutor at the time, back in May, recommended at least some jail time, but this was before the 39 counts of fraud came down. Joe has the same attorney for both cases, and I'm wondering how it's all going to shake out. He may well be in jail when the trial for fraud comes around in spring. Let's take another high-profile case as an example, Jesse Jackson Jr. and his wife Sandra. They were convicted of misusing campaign funds, and they have young children. They have been allowed to serve their sentences consecutively. Jesse going first, Sandra will go in when he gets out, so the kids always have one parent at home. Now, the Guidices have one more wrinkle in their cases. Joe is not a U.S. citizen. In the past, in similar cases, they serve their U.S. prison time and then are referred to immigration court for deportation. Conceivably, that could happen to Joe. I would guess that the attorney will try to avoid jail time for the DMV charges or argue for a very short sentence that's over by the time the trial for fraud starts in the spring. Teresa then could serve her time first, if she gets any, and then Joe could serve his after. And then once Joe gets out, either the family splits up or they all move to Italy. Or maybe they'll be found out guilty of everything and none of this will happen. Let me know what you thought in the comments and join me tomorrow for all things Atlanta and Beverly Hills gossip. For now, I am Alex McCord. You are watching TheStir.com. See you next time.